Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of our podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Mia. We're so glad you're here because today we're diving into something that almost everyone has an opinion about. Books. But not just any books. We're talking about our favorite books.
Exactly. You know, it's funny. Whenever people ask, "What's your favorite book?" there's always that tiny pause. Like, how do you choose just one when there are so many good ones out there?
Right? And sometimes it even depends on your mood. Like 1 month, you might be obsessed with a fantasy series, and then suddenly you're deep into a self-help book or a memoir. But still, everyone has that one book that leaves a mark, that stays with you no matter what.
That's what we're going to do today. We're each going to share our favorite book, why we love it, what it means to us, and then we'll compare them. Spoiler alert, they're pretty different choices.
Haha, very different, and that's what makes this fun.
Okay, so I'll go first. My favorite book, and it has been for years, is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Oh yes, I was waiting for you to say that. That book is so you.
Guilty as charged. It's basically this magical little novel that's part story, part philosophy, part life advice. It follows this young shepherd boy named Santiago, who dreams of finding treasure near the Egyptian pyramids. But it's not really just about treasure. It's about following your personal legend, which is like your life's true purpose.
See? That's why it's your favorite. You're always about purpose, destiny, big picture thinking.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, I guess so. But honestly, the book hit me at a time in life when I was kind of lost. You know, figuring out what I wanted to do. And the way Coelho writes, so simple, yet so powerful. It felt like the universe was talking directly to me.
I totally get that. For me, reading it felt like someone condensed 1,000 motivational quotes into a story. But because it was wrapped in Santiago's journey, it didn't feel preachy. It felt inspiring.
Exactly. And what I love most is this idea of omens. Santiago keeps noticing little signs from the world that guide him, and it made me start paying attention in real life. Like, okay, maybe that coincidence is actually telling me something.
Did it work?
Ha ha ha! Sometimes. I mean, I didn't find a hidden treasure chest, but I did start trusting my instincts more.
That's the thing about The Alchemist. It makes you pause and reflect, like, am I listening to my heart? Am I paying attention to the signs? Am I giving up too soon on something that matters to me?
Yes. And you know the line, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it.
Classic.
That's the line that stuck with me. Every time I doubted myself, I'd think of that. It's not about blind optimism, it's about aligning with what you truly want. And then suddenly, opportunities show up.
I like that. And I also like how it's not a long book. You can read it in a day or two, but the impact lasts way longer.
Exactly. It's short but deep, and it's the kind of book you can reread at different ages and get something new every time.
Okay, before we move on to my book, let me ask, who's your favorite character in The Alchemist?
Besides Santiago? Honestly, the alchemist himself. He only shows up later, but he's such a mysterious, wise figure. He's the mentor we all wish we had. Someone who believes in you but also challenges you.
That's true. He doesn't give Santiago easy answers. He makes him figure it out.
Exactly, and that's real life. You don't always get a step-by-step guide. You get hints, guidance, and then you have to take the leap.
Love that! Okay, so we've got destiny, omens, and life lessons. Very Alex. Now, can I reveal my book?
Go for it.
My favorite book is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen.
Haha, I knew it.
Of course you did. It's the ultimate classic. And yes, it's completely different from your pick, but hear me out.
I'm listening.
So, Pride and Prejudice is not just a romance. People often think it's just about Elizabeth Bennet falling in love with Mr. Darcy. But it's also about social class, family expectations, women's independence, and how first impressions can be misleading.
That's true, and Elizabeth Bennet is such a strong character for her time.
Exactly. She's witty, outspoken, and refuses to settle for less. In a society where women were expected to marry for money or status, she held out for respect and love. That was revolutionary.
I have to admit, Elizabeth Bennet has some serious backbone.
And the writing. Austen's wit is unmatched. She makes these subtle observations about society that are still relatable today. Like, we don't live in Regency England, but we still deal with judgment, gossip, and pressure to meet certain standards.
That's true, and the whole Pride and Prejudice theme is timeless.
Yes! Darcy is too proud, Elizabeth is too prejudiced against him, and they both have to grow before they can truly understand each other. It's about self-awareness, not just romance.
So if I asked you, what's the one lesson from Pride and Prejudice that shaped you, what would it be?
I'd say don't let first impressions lock you in. People are layered and sometimes your assumptions blind you. Elizabeth misjudged Darcy. Darcy misjudged her family. And yet they both grew. It reminds me to keep an open mind in real life.
That's a solid lesson and very different from mine. Mine is follow your destiny. Yours is don't judge too fast.
Exactly, and together they actually complement each other. So, picking up from where I left off, Pride and Prejudice isn't just my favorite book because of Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy's romance. It's my favorite because of how layered it is. On the surface, yes, it's witty banter and social drama, but underneath it's about identity, dignity, and the courage to stand up for what you believe in.
I like that you said layered, because when I first read it, and I'll be honest, I didn't choose to read it, it was assigned in school. I thought, okay, this is just a story about balls and marriage proposals. But when you actually slow down and pay attention, you realize Jane Austen was way ahead of her time.
Exactly. She was writing in the early 1800s when women didn't even have the right to vote or much say in their lives. And yet, here's Elizabeth Bennet saying, "I refuse to marry just for money or security. I want love and respect." That's bold.
Yeah, considering her family's situation, her mom was basically desperate to marry off the daughters, right?
Haha, yes, Mrs. Bennet is the definition of marriage pressure. And you can't even blame her. In that time, daughters couldn't inherit property. So if the Bennet sisters didn't marry well, they'd be in real financial trouble.
So Elizabeth's refusal to settle wasn't just romantic idealism, it was kind of risky.
Exactly. And that's what I love. She knew her worth, and she wasn't afraid to walk away from offers that didn't align with her values. Remember when Mr. Collins proposed to her?
Oh yeah, that guy. Haha, he was so pompous, talking about how she should be grateful for his offer.
Yes. He was basically saying, "You should marry me because I'm doing you a favor." And Elizabeth flat out said no, even though marrying him would have secured her future. That moment was like, okay, Lizzie is my hero.
And then, of course, there's Mr. Darcy. He starts off as this aloof, arrogant guy, and you're like, wow, he's the worst.
Ha ha! Yes, but then as the story unfolds, you realize he's actually kind, loyal, and principled. Just really bad at first impressions.
That's why I think the book's title is genius. Pride and Prejudice aren't just abstract ideas, they're the personal flaws that nearly ruin everything. Darcy's pride blinds him. Elizabeth's prejudice blinds her. And they both have to grow.
Exactly. It's a story of personal growth disguised as a romance, and that's what makes it timeless.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You've probably read this book more than once. What changes when you reread it?
Great question. The first time I was all about the romance. Will they, won't they? The tension between Elizabeth and Darcy was everything. The second time, I noticed the family dynamics more. How different each Bennet sister is. How Mr. Bennet uses humor to cope with stress. How Lydia's recklessness almost ruins everything. And now, whenever I reread it, I focus on the social commentary. Austen's little digs at class and status are hilarious and sharp.
So basically, it grows with you.
Exactly. That's why it's my favorite. It's like visiting old friends but seeing new sides of them every time.
I like that. And it's cool how your favorite book and mine kind of represent two different ways of looking at life.
How so?
Well, The Alchemist is about going out into the world, chasing your dreams, following omens, and believing the universe will guide you. It's like this outward journey of exploration.
Right.
Whereas Pride and Prejudice is more inward. It's about self-awareness, overcoming flaws, learning not to judge too quickly, and valuing character over status.
That's true. One is about chasing a destiny, and the other is about seeing clearly what's right in front of you.
Exactly.
And both are important. Like, you can't chase your personal legend if you're blinded by prejudice or arrogance. And you can't really grow in relationships without knowing your deeper purpose.
That's actually a really good point. Santiago and Elizabeth would probably give each other great advice if they ever met.
Haha. Oh, wow, imagine that crossover. Santiago's like, follow your omens. Elizabeth's like, yes, but make sure you're not being prideful about it.
Haha, exactly.
You know, it's interesting. Your book is short, almost like a fable, but packed with wisdom. Mine is longer, filled with social drama, but also layered with meaning.
Yeah, different styles, but both resonate deeply.
Okay, but let's get into this. If you had to compare the main characters, who do you think is stronger, Santiago or Elizabeth Bennet?
Oh, that's tough. Santiago is strong because he follows this insane journey. Across deserts, meeting strangers, risking everything. All for a dream he doesn't even fully understand. That takes courage.
That's true.
But Elizabeth Bennet is strong in a quieter way. She defies societal norms, stands up to powerful people like Lady Catherine, and refuses to compromise her values. That's also courage.
Exactly. They're strong in different arenas. Santiago's strength is external, all adventure, risk-taking. Elizabeth's strength is internal, integrity, independence.
Well said. And maybe that's why we picked them. I'm more drawn to the idea of adventure and destiny. You're more drawn to character and relationships.
Yeah, that tracks.
So now that we've laid out both our favorite books, let's do the fun part, comparing them.
Yes! I love this part because on the surface they seem like total opposites. The Alchemist is this dreamy, almost mystical journey across deserts and pyramids. Pride and Prejudice is about tea parties, country estates, and social gossip in 19th century England.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, talk about different vibes. One's about omens and destiny, the other's about who's marrying who.
But here's the thing. Both are about transformation.
Oh, I like that. Go on.
Well, Santiago transforms by trusting the universe and following his heart. Elizabeth transforms by overcoming her own biases and seeing Darcy and herself more clearly. Different journeys, same idea, growth.
That's actually really true. And I'd add that both books are about courage. Santiago has to face the unknown, leaving home, risking everything. Elizabeth has to face society's expectations, rejecting Mr. Collins, standing up to Lady Catherine, and refusing to be bullied.
Yes! And both books remind us that true happiness requires bravery.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's talk writing style. Because Paulo Coelho writes like he's telling you a bedtime story. It's simple, clear, almost like parables stitched together.
Right. His sentences are short, but they hit you. Like, and when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. It's one of those lines you can quote at a graduation ceremony or put on your wall.
Totally. Meanwhile, Jane Austen writes with wit and irony. She's subtle, but when you catch her sarcasm, it's brilliant. Like the very first line, "It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife."
That's such a sharp opening. She basically roasted her entire society in one sentence.
Exactly. It's witty, but it also sets up the whole novel on money, marriage, expectations.
So Coelho's writing inspires you to dream, and Austen's writing makes you laugh while also questioning society.
Yes, different flavors, but both delicious.
Okay, now here's a question. Which book gives more practical life lessons?
That's tricky. The Alchemist gives those big, universal lessons like follow your heart, don't give up, trust the journey. They're motivating, but kind of abstract.
True.
Pride and Prejudice, on the other hand, gives more day-to-day lessons like don't judge too quickly, don't let your ego get in the way, don't marry for the wrong reasons.
That's a good point. Coelho speaks to your soul, Austen speaks to your social life.
Exactly. Haha.
But I'd argue that The Alchemist also has practical lessons just hidden. Like Santiago learns to be patient, to work hard at the crystal shop, to adapt when things go wrong.
True, I'll give you that. And Elizabeth teaches us resilience, like how to stand up for yourself even when society pressures you.
So basically, read The Alchemist when you're lost in life, and read Pride and Prejudice when you're dealing with people.
Ha ha, perfect summary. Here's another angle. Relationships. Your book is mostly about Santiago's relationship with himself and the universe. Mine is about Elizabeth's relationships with family, society, and Darcy.
Yes, and that's why people connect differently. Some readers are more inward, reflective, and they'll love Santiago's solo journey. Others are more socially aware, and they'll love Elizabeth navigating her world.
Exactly. But both kinds of readers end up reflecting on themselves.
Right, like when I read The Alchemist, I asked myself, am I ignoring my own personal legend? And when I read Pride and Prejudice, I asked, am I judging people unfairly or thoughts?
See? Both self-check moments, just in different contexts.
Okay, let's play a game. Ready?
Always.
If your favorite book was a song, what would it be?
Ooh, tough one. I'd say Pride and Prejudice would be like a classical symphony. Elegant, layered, dramatic, with highs and lows. Maybe Beethoven or Mozart.
Nice.
What about The Alchemist?
I'd say it's like a soulful ballad. Simple lyrics, but full of meaning. Maybe something acoustic that you play at night when you're thinking about life.
That fits perfectly.
All right, here's another. If the characters swapped worlds, what would happen?
Ha! Oh my gosh, Elizabeth Bennet in the desert looking for treasure? She'd last 2 days before calling out Santiago for being too dreamy.
Haha, true. She'd be like, this is impractical. Get a job.
And Santiago at a Regency-era ball? He'd be so lost. He'd probably stand in the corner looking for omens in the chandeliers.
Haha, yes. And everyone would think he's eccentric.
But you know what? He'd probably charm Charlotte Lucas with his stories about the desert.
Oh, for sure. And maybe Darcy would secretly admire his courage.
See? Crossover fanfic practically writes itself.
Okay, but seriously, both characters would actually learn something. Elizabeth might learn to trust signs beyond logic, and Santiago might learn to be more grounded.
Exactly. And that's why these stories still matter. They remind us to balance heart and mind, dreams and reality.
All right, Mia, I think we've compared themes and writing styles enough. Let's get personal. Do you remember when you first read Pride and Prejudice?
Oh yes, I was in high school and it was part of our English syllabus. At first, I rolled my eyes. I thought, great, another old book about rich people and their problems. But then, something happened. Elizabeth Bennet's voice pulled me in. She was witty, sarcastic, and honestly reminded me of myself, questioning norms, standing up to authority.
That tracks. You're basically the Elizabeth of our group of friends.
Ha ha, thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. But yeah, as I kept reading, I realized it wasn't just a love story. It was a mirror. It made me reflect on how often I judge people too quickly. Like, I remember once there was this girl in school who seemed really arrogant, so I kept my distance. Later, I got to know her, and she turned out to be one of the most genuine people I'd ever met. Total Darcy situation.
Wow, that's straight out of Austin.
Exactly. That's why the book stuck with me. It wasn't just literature, it was life advice in disguise.
I love that. For me, The Alchemist was also a high school read, but I found it on my own. I was in this phase where I felt super uncertain about career, about identity, about everything. And then I picked up this small golden-covered book. The story of Santiago felt like my story.
Like you were on your own treasure hunt?
Yes, exactly. Not for gold, but for meaning. And it encouraged me to take risks. Like when I applied for my first internship in another city, I was terrified. But I kept thinking, the universe conspires to help you. And honestly, things fell into place. Not perfectly, but enough to give me faith.
See? That's why books matter. They sneak into your real life.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk favorite quotes. You already mentioned one of yours earlier.
Yeah, the famous one. And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. That's my anchor.
Classic. For me, it's from Pride and Prejudice. I declare after all there is no enjoyment like reading. How much sooner one tires of anything than of a book.
That's such a Mia line.
Ha ha ha, right? But it's true. Books never fail me. Even when I've had a bad day, opening one feels like coming home.
I love that. And you know, quotes from these books work in different ways. Yours feels cozy and grounding. Mine feels like a call to adventure.
Exactly. That's why they complement each other.
So let me ask you, how has Pride and Prejudice shaped the way you approach relationships?
Great question. I'd say it made me more patient and less judgmental. Like, I try not to jump to conclusions about people. I also refuse to settle for less. Elizabeth taught me that respect and mutual understanding are non-negotiables.
I like that. For me, The Alchemist shaped how I approach challenges. Whenever something feels impossible, I try to see it as part of the journey. Like maybe this obstacle is actually preparing me for what's ahead.
That's such a Santiago mindset.
Exactly, and it keeps me hopeful.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. What do you think these books say about the power of reading in general?
I think they prove that stories don't just entertain, they transform. A shepherd boy's journey from Spain to Egypt can feel just as personal as a young woman's battles in Regency England, because deep down, they're about us.
Yes, books are time machines, empathy machines, and self-reflection tools all in one.
Beautifully put.
All right, Alex, we've gone on quite the literary adventure today. Time to wrap this up.
Yeah, so here's my takeaway. My favorite book, The Alchemist, taught me to listen to my heart and follow my dreams, even when the path is uncertain.
And mine, Pride and Prejudice, taught me to trust my instincts but also challenge my assumption, and to never compromise on respect in relationships.
Different lessons, but together they cover both the inner journey and the outer one.
Exactly. And that's the magic of reading. Your book might be different from mine, but they both leave fingerprints on our lives.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of today's episode.
We had such a great time sharing our favorite books with you, and we hope it made you think about the stories that shaped your life too.
Because that's the real magic of reading. It's not just about the pages, it's about how those words stay with you long after you close the book.
Exactly. So, whether your favorite book is full of adventure like The Alchemist or full of wit and romance like Pride and Prejudice, remember, every story has something to teach us.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with a friend who loves books as much as you do.
And we'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite book and why? Send us a message or tag us on social media.
All right, that's it for now.
Thanks for listening, and until next time.
Keep reading, keep learning, and keep growing.